Thanks, Michael. Thanks for doing this, guys. Trinidad is always going to be associated with what happened in Cuba in 2017. I think on the outside, I'm sure you guys have moved past that. You guys weren't part of that. But I mean, does it still exist at all? Is it still whenever you play them, is there a feeling that you have to sort of win that game, or there's an extra feeling you have to win that game? Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's largely a different group than was part of that game, and I think we've done a pretty good job to move past that. And as I said, it's a new group, and we have new goals, new objectives. So I don't think it plays too much of a role in how we prepare for the game.
Next will be Kyle Bond from Sporting News.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate your time and everybody's time. I'm wondering, you could see in Charlotte the smoke and the haze that's kind of come in from the wildfires. Did you feel any effects of that training at all, or have you taken any precautions or any kind of extra steps to maybe mitigate the effects of that at all, or is it kind of a non-factor for you?
I don't think it's a huge factor, but we are aware of it. You can feel maybe a bit more fatigue or tired during training, but both Trinidad and us are going to have to deal with it, and we look forward to hopefully being on the right side of the result.
The U.S. team arrived in Charlotte yesterday afternoon. Today was the first training session in Charlotte ahead of the game on Sunday. And again, if you'd like to ask a question, you can virtually raise your hand. We'll continue with Ryan Talmadge from Goal.com.
Thank you, Michael. This one's for James. Obviously, with you, there's always this kind of discussion about, what position you're going to play with the national team and where you sort of fit. Obviously, you've been playing as a number 6, and obviously things are kind of going to change a little bit once Greg comes back. But knowing that Greg is coming back, a coach that you are familiar with, that is familiar with you, how do you kind of see yourself positionally as you kind of start this cycle and get going with this national team as it stands?
Yeah, I think, as you said, it's always going to be a bit of a question about which position I can play best. But I think I've really enjoyed being in that holding midfield role for this camp. And, at the last Gold Cup, I played center back. So, with the national team, it's really about wherever you can get on the field. Obviously, with New York, I've played mostly as a number 6, and, that's where they see me, and that's probably where I think my best position is, but being versatile always helps. So anything that gives me a better chance of making the team or getting more minutes, stuff like that, I think really helps me.
Next will be Hector Lazzeri.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you guys for the time. Wanted to ask, Mexico is the only team with 2 wins so far in the tournament. Do you think they are playing the best, or do you think you are playing the best after scoring 6 last time, or maybe even some other team like Jamaica or someone else?
Yeah, I don't know who's playing the best at the moment, but for us, it's about what we do in the group, right? We're not really focused on other groups. We want to be able to get out of the group and hopefully take first place in our group. So for us, that's a goal, but of course, it's obviously important for us to play well and feel like we're playing well going into the quarterfinals, because we can use that confidence and momentum going into it. So I know Mexico is full of confidence right now. I'm sure Canada will be if they win another game, and hopefully we'll be on the right side of that as well.
We will go back to Doug McIntyre.
Thanks, Michael. Cristian, I just wanted to ask you about the surface, temporary grass. Like, how did it play? What are the challenges of playing on a surface like that? Thanks.
On Charlotte's grass over turf, or what are we talking about?
Yeah, it's a temporary grass field,
yeah.
Right, for the game. So just what was it like? You trained on it, and what are the challenges playing on a temporary grass field laid over turf?
So Doug, just as a starting point, we're not training at the stadium.
Okay, all right. Sorry. So just generally, Cristian, I know you've played on that kind of surface before. Thanks.
Yeah, it makes things a little bit interesting. Bounces kind of go. It could be a little bit unpredictable, but for us, I think, both teams are playing with it. I don't think that's going to be, a huge factor going into this game. For us, it's more about being clean with our touches. If we're clean with our touches, the ball will be in control of the ball. So for us, I think the most important thing is, look, we're both going to have to deal with it, and let's just make sure that we're cleaner on the ball than them.
Our last question comes from Andrew Jones.
Thank you, Michael. Just a question for both. First, Christian, how's been working with BJ Callahan for you in your time with him, with the energy that he brings, as well as dealing with, I guess, that viral moment the other night where, unfortunately, Gerard Williams of St. Kitts St. Nevins had to take that shot, where. And James, just your thoughts on working with Giovanni Van Bronckhorst at your time in Rangers, and how you did have your moments there before coming back to NYCFC, and just your whole thoughts of possibly playing in Europe again after being back at NYCFC.
Sure. Yeah, I really loved working under Gio. He was a big reason I went to Rangers in the first place. He's had a lot of success as a manager. He did very well in the Netherlands, and he was a great player as well. So, with my time at Rangers with Gio, I learned so much, and it being my first experience in Europe, I think it was really helpful for me to have that sort of presence, giving me advice and stuff. And going forward, it's fully my aim to be in Europe again. New York knows that we're all on the same page, so I just got to keep putting in some good performances. Keep focused, and I know I'll get back there and find a good situation in Europe.
Yeah, and for me, I think I'd like to publicly apologize to Mr. Williams. Very undeserving to have to go through that, but really proud that he put everything on the line for his country. And I think for me, working with BJ has been great, very seamless. Sees the game in a very similar way as Greg, and has added a little bit of his influence, and so it's been really smooth. And I know the boys still have the same core values that we've been working through over the last 6-7 years.